Welcome back to HD Coins World. What if I told you that some of the pennies sitting in your collection could be worth a fortune? Today, we're uncovering 5 rare wheat pennies and 5 valuable Lincoln pennies that have sold for shocking amounts. These coins may look ordinary, but they hold secrets that could make them life-changing finds. Stay tuned. You might have one without even realizing it. Number 1. Uncommon pennies. The secret to hidden coin wealth. Have you ever come across an old penny and wondered if it might be worth a fortune? What if I told you that a simple 1944 wheat penny could be hiding in your collection, worth an unbelievable amount? Most people don't realize that some of the smallest coins in circulation hold the biggest secrets. Today, we're diving deep into the world of rare pennies, uncovering what makes the 1944 wheat penny so valuable, how to identify it, and the hidden errors that could make it worth even more. Before we begin, I have a question for you. Have you ever found an unusual or old penny in your change? Maybe one that looked different from the rest? Let me know in the comments below. Your story could inspire another collector. The 1944 wheat penny is one of the most sought-after Lincoln cents. It was minted in Denver, as shown by the small D mint mark just below the date. The wheat penny series was produced from 1909 to 1958 and is instantly recognizable by the 2 wheat stalks on the reverse, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. But what makes this specific 1944 penny so special? The year 1944 was a critical time in U.S. history, with World War II still raging. Because of metal shortages, the U.S. Mint made pennies out of steel in 1943. However, in 1944, they returned to using copper. But here's where the mystery begins. Some pennies struck that year were accidentally made with leftover steel planchets from 1943, creating one of the most valuable errors in U.S. coinage. If you're lucky enough to find a 1944 wheat penny struck on a steel planchet, its value skyrockets instantly. Spotting a rare 1944 wheat penny requires a careful eye. The first thing to check is the weight. A normal copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while the steel version weighs 2.7 grams. If you suspect you have a steel version, try using a magnet. Steel pennies will stick to a magnet, while copper ones won't. But don't stop there. Even copper 1944 pennies can be highly valuable if they have rare errors. One of the biggest errors to look for is the double die obverse. This means that the coin's design was struck twice slightly off-center, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the date and lettering. Another major error is the repunched mint mark (RPM), where the D mint mark appears doubled or even tripled. These small details can drastically increase a penny's value. Collectors and experts are always on the lookout for high-grade examples of this penny. If your 1944 wheat penny has minimal wear and retains its original luster, its value can climb even higher. Coins graded as mint state (MS) by professional grading services fetch the highest prices at auction.so. How much can a 1944 wheat penny be worth? In the most extreme cases, when preserved in top condition or featuring a rare error, it has sold for an astonishing $95,000. Yes, a single penny worth nearly $100,000. This is why searching through your pocket change, old coin jars, or inherited collections is more exciting than ever. You never know when you might come across one of these hidden treasures. Have you ever discovered a rare coin in your collection? Let me know in the comments. Who knows, you might already be holding a fortune in your hands. Number 2. Hidden wealth in your pocket. The rare and valuable 1949 wheat penny. Have you ever wondered if a simple penny could be worth a fortune? Most people overlook these tiny coins, but some hold incredible value, far beyond their face value. Today, we're unlocking the secrets of one of the most valuable wheat pennies ever minted, the 1949 wheat penny. Could you have one sitting unnoticed in your collection or spare change? Let's find out. Before we begin, here's a question for you. Have you ever found an old wheat penny while going through your coins? Maybe one with a unique mark or color? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear what treasures you've come across. The Wheat Penny series, minted from 1909 to 1958, is well known among collectors. The 1949 wee penny stands out because of its rarity, condition, and special errors that make it worth serious money. The key features of this coin include the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the reverse featuring 2 wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. While millions were minted, only a few have survived in pristine condition, and some feature rare errors that send their value soaring. So, what makes the 1949 wee penny so valuable? It all comes down to scarcity, condition, and errors. While many 1949 pennies remain in circulation, finding one in near-perfect condition is rare. Over the years, these coins have been handled, spent, and worn down, making high-grade examples exceptionally hard to find. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for well-preserved coins, and when combined with rare errors, their value can skyrocket. How can you spot one of these rare and valuable 1949 wee pennies? First, check the date and mint mark. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While all versions can be valuable, those with specific errors or in high grades are the real treasures. Next, examine the coin's condition. A coin with sharp details, little wear, and a strong luster is far more desirable. If you think you've found a promising 1949 wee penny, consider getting it graded by a professional service to determine its true worth. Now, let's talk about the rare errors that make this penny even more valuable. One of the most significant is the double die obverse, where the date and lettering appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. This error creates a unique and highly sought-after effect, making the coin much more valuable. Another error to watch for is the repunched mint mark (RPM), where the mint mark appears stamped more than once, slightly overlapping. Some 1949 wee pennies were also struck on defective or improper planchets, causing unusual textures, missing details, or off-center strikes. These rare varieties command high prices at auctions, as collectors eagerly seek them out. If you come across a penny that looks different from the rest, it might be worth closer examination. It could be one of these rare error coins. So, what is a 1949 wee penny worth today? While most are only worth a few cents, the rarest examples in top condition, especially those with striking errors, have reached an unbelievable price. The highest recorded sale for a 1949 wee penny has reached an astonishing $92,000. That's right, a simple penny worth nearly $100,000. This is why searching through old coin collections, pocket change, or inherited jars of coins can be more rewarding than you ever imagined. You never know when you might come across one of these hidden gems. Have you ever discovered an unusual or rare penny? Let me know in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to start looking for treasures too. Number 3. Uncommon pennies. The hidden fortune in the 1953 wee penny. Could a simple penny sitting in your coin jar be worth thousands of dollars? Many people overlook small change, never realizing that some of the most valuable coins are hiding in plain sight. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1953 wee penny, one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in American history. If you've ever found an old wee penny, you might want to check it again because this coin could be worth a life-changing amount. Before we begin, here's a question for you. Have you ever discovered an unusual coin in your change or collection? Maybe a wee penny that looked a little different. Let me know in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else to take a closer look at their coins. The wee penny series, minted from 1909 to 1958, is a favorite among collectors. The 1953 wee penny is instantly recognizable by its classic design. On the obverse, you'll find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse features 2 wheat stalks, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. It's a simple yet timeless design, but not all 1953 wee pennies are created equal. So, what makes this particular penny so valuable? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and errors. While millions of 1953 pennies were minted, finding one in top condition is incredibly rare. Over time, most pennies get worn down, scratched, or damaged from circulation. But when a 1953 wheat penny is preserved in pristine condition, especially in a high mint state grade, it becomes a collector's dream, commanding thousands of dollars at auctions. But that's not all. Some 1953 wheat pennies have rare errors that send their value skyrocketing. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse. This occurs when the coin is struck twice with a slight misalignment, causing the lettering and date to appear doubled. If you have a 1953 penny with this error, you could be holding a small fortune. Another valuable error to look for is the repunched mint mark, RPM. This happens when the D or S mint mark is stamped more than once, creating a noticeable doubling effect. Some 1953 pennies were also struck on defective planchets, leading to missing details, uneven surfaces, or off-center strikes, features that make them highly collectible. So, how can you spot a valuable 1953 wheat penny? First, check the date and mint mark. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While all versions can be valuable, those with rare errors or in high grades are the true gems. Next, examine the coin's condition. A penny with crisp details, a strong luster, and minimal wear is far more desirable than one that has been heavily circulated. If you think you've found a promising 1953 wheat penny, consider getting it professionally graded to determine its true worth. Now, let's talk about value. While most 1953 wheat pennies are worth only a few cents, the rarest examples, especially those with significant errors or in top condition, can fetch incredible prices. The highest recorded sale for a 1953 wheat penny has reached an astonishing $75,000. That's right, a single penny worth more than most cars. This is why searching through old change, inherited collections, or coin rolls is more exciting than ever. You never know when you might stumble upon one of these hidden treasures. Have you ever found a rare or unusual coin? Let me know in the comments. Your discovery could inspire another collector to start searching. Number 4. The Hidden Fortune. The rare and valuable 1945 wheat penny. Could a simple penny in your collection be worth a fortune? Most people pass over pennies without a second thought, never realizing that some of these small coins hold incredible value. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1945 wheat penny, one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in American history. If you have one, it could be worth way more than just a cent. Before we get started, here's a question for you. Have you ever come across an old wheat penny while going through your change? Maybe one that looked different or had something unusual about it. Let me know in the comments. You never know, you might have a hidden treasure sitting in your collection right now. The wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 and remained in circulation until 1958. The 1945 wheat penny carries the classic design by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, we see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, and on the reverse, two wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. While millions of 1945 wheat pennies were minted, only a handful are truly rare and valuable. The difference lies in their condition, scarcity, and most importantly, the rare errors that make them highly collectible. So, what makes the 1945 wheat penny so valuable? The answer comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and errors. While many of these pennies were produced, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is incredibly difficult. Over the decades, most have been worn down from circulation. However, those that have survived in near-perfect condition, graded as mint state, are the ones that command the highest prices. But condition isn't the only thing that makes this penny valuable. Some 1945 wheat pennies contain rare mint errors that can make them worth a small fortune. One of the most famous errors is the double die obverse, where the coin was struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the date and lettering. This error can make a common penny instantly worth thousands of dollars. Another valuable error is the repunched mint mark, RPM, which occurs when the mint mark, whether D for Denver or S for San Francisco, was stamped more than once, creating an overlapping effect. These errors are highly sought after by collectors. Some 1945 wheat pennies were also struck on leftover steel planchets from 1943, when pennies were temporarily made of steel due to wartime shortages. If you ever come across a 1945 wheat penny that looks silvery or magnetic, you might have one of these rare finds. Now, how do you spot a valuable 1945 wheat penny? Start by checking the date and mint mark. This coin was minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The ones with rare errors or in extremely high grades are the true gems. Next, examine the coin's condition. If your penny has clear details, a strong luster, and little to no wear, it could be worth significantly more than face value. A magnifying glass or a coin microscope can help you spot doubling, mint mark errors, or other unusual features that add to its value. So, how much is the rarest 1945 wheat penny worth today? While most are only worth a few cents, the rarest examples, especially those with significant errors or in perfect condition, have reached unbelievable prices. The highest recorded sale for a 1945 wheat penny has reached an astonishing $91,000. Imagine finding a single penny that could change your life. This is why searching through your old coin collections, pocket change, or inherited jars of coins can be incredibly rewarding. Hidden treasures like the 1945 wheat penny are out there, waiting to be discovered. Have you ever found a rare or unusual penny? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Number 5. Uncommon pennies. The hidden wealth in the 1950 wheat penny. Most people overlook pennies, tossing them into a jar or leaving them behind as loose change. But what if I told you that a simple 1950 wheat penny could be worth thousands of dollars? That's right. This seemingly ordinary coin could be hiding a secret that makes it one of the most valuable pennies in American history. If you've ever found an old wheat penny, now is the time to take a closer look. Before we dive in, here's a question for you. Have you ever come across a wheat penny that looked a little different? Maybe an unusual color, a strange marking, or an error? Let me know in the comments. Your discovery could be more valuable than you think. The 1950 wheat penny carries the timeless design created by Victor David Brenner. The obverse features a portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the same design used on today's pennies, but with one major difference: the classic wheat ears on the reverse instead of the modern Lincoln Memorial. The words 1 cent and United States of America sit between two curved wheat stalks, a design that symbolizes prosperity and growth. Now, what makes this penny so valuable? While millions were minted, only a select few are worth a fortune. The main factors that determine the value are rarity, condition, and unique errors. Most 1950 wheat pennies have been heavily circulated, meaning they show signs of wear, scratches, and fading. However, a 1950 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, graded as mint state, is exceptionally rare and highly sought after by collectors. But the real game changer is mint errors. Some of the rarest and most valuable 1950 wheat pennies feature errors that dramatically increase their worth. One of the most well-known errors is the doubled die obverse, where the date and lettering appear slightly doubled due to a misaligned strike. If you notice doubling on "Liberty in God We Trust" or the date, you might have a rare treasure. Another error to look for is the repunched mint mark (RPM), which happens when the mint mark was stamped more than once, causing a visible overlapping effect. These are especially common on Denver, D, and San Francisco, S mint pennies. In some cases, the mint mark was even stamped sideways or at an unusual angle, making these errors highly collectible. One of the rarest varieties is the off-metal strike, where some 1950 wheat pennies were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other coins. If you ever find a 1950 penny that looks thinner, lighter, or even silver-colored, you could be holding a rare mistake from the mint. So, how do you spot a valuable 1950 wheat penny? First, check the date and mint mark. This penny was produced in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The ones with rare errors or in top condition are the true gems. Next, examine the details. A strong strike, clear design, and original luster mean a much higher value. If your penny looks promising, consider having it graded by a professional to determine its true worth. Now, let's talk about value. While most 1950 wheat pennies are only worth a few cents, the rarest examples, those with mint errors or in exceptional condition, have sold for incredible prices at auction. The highest recorded sale for a 1950 wheat penny has reached an astonishing $78,000. Imagine finding a penny worth more than a luxury car. This is why checking your old coins is so important. You never know when you might come across a hidden fortune. Have you ever found a rare penny in your pocket change or collection? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Number 6. Uncommon pennies. The secret to hidden coin wealth. Have you ever wondered if a simple penny could be worth a fortune? What if I told you that a rare 1963 penny could bring an incredible payday? Most people overlook these coins, but there's a secret behind certain pennies that makes them highly valuable. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1963 Lincoln cent, uncovering what makes it so special, how to spot one, and why collectors are willing to pay big bucks for it. The 1963 penny might not be as famous as some earlier wheat pennies, but don't let that fool you. Hidden among ordinary cents are a few rare examples that could change everything. Before we get into the value, let's take a closer look at the key features that make this coin a true gem. The 1963 Lincoln penny was struck at the Denver Mint, and like other cents of the era, it features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse displays the classic wheat ears, a design that was retired after 1958 in favor of the Lincoln Memorial. However, what sets some of these 1963 pennies apart is their exceptional condition, unique errors, and scarce varieties that drive collectors into a frenzy. But why is this coin so valuable? One of the biggest factors is rarity. While millions were minted, only a few have survived in pristine condition. High-grade examples with strong details and original luster are in high demand. And then, of course, we have the mint errors, those accidental imperfections that can skyrocket a penny's value. So how do you spot one of these valuable coins? Start by examining the mint mark. The D beneath the year indicates it was minted in Denver. Look closely at the coin's surface under good lighting. A perfectly preserved, uncirculated 1963 penny with full details on Lincoln's hair and coat could be worth a lot. If you find one with doubling on the lettering or numbers, that's even better. These double-die varieties can be extremely rare, making them a true collector's dream. Now, let's talk about errors, because errors are where things get really interesting. Some 1963 pennies have been found with striking mistakes like doubled dies, off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks. A double-die penny, where the design appears slightly duplicated, is a major find. Another rare error to watch for is the BIE error, where a small die break forms between the letters B and E in Liberty. Even tiny errors like these can mean the difference between pocket change and serious cash. Imagine finding one of these rare pennies sitting in an old jar or tucked away in a forgotten drawer. Wouldn't that be an incredible discovery? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever come across an unusual penny in your collection? Maybe you have a hidden treasure and don't even realize it. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for. How much is the rarest 1963 penny worth? While values depend on condition and rarity, one extraordinary specimen sold for an astonishing $45,000. Yes, a single penny reaching that price. This is why searching through your old change is always worth it. So, the next time you come across a 1963 penny, take a second look. That tiny coin in your hand could be a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, you might just hold history in the palm of your hand. Number 7. Uncommon pennies. Unlocking the hidden wealth in your change. Could a simple penny in your pocket be worth thousands? The answer might surprise you. Today, we're revealing the secrets behind one of the most valuable pennies in U.S. history, the 1966 Lincoln cent. While it might seem like an ordinary coin, a few rare variations have collectors willing to pay unbelievable amounts. If you've ever wondered what makes some pennies so valuable, stick around, because this could be the key to finding a hidden fortune. The 1966 penny was part of the Lincoln cent series, featuring the iconic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, we see the classic Lincoln Memorial, which replaced the wheat ears design in 1959. At first glance, it may look like any other penny, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. What makes it so valuable? First, it's important to know that 1966 was a unique year for U.S. coinage. Due to a coin shortage, the U.S. Mint did not include mint marks on coins from 1965 to 1967, meaning all 1966 pennies were struck without a D or S mint mark. While millions of these pennies were produced, only a small number were preserved in exceptional condition. Those in near-perfect, uncirculated grades are highly sought after. But the real money is in rare errors and varieties. So how do you spot one of these valuable 1966 pennies? Start by looking at the condition. A well-preserved penny with sharp details, no heavy scratches, and original luster could be worth much more than face value. If you come across a 1966 penny with a strange appearance, unusual doubling, or other oddities, it might be a rare error coin. Errors are where things get really exciting. Some of the most valuable 1966 pennies feature double die errors, where parts of the design appear slightly duplicated. If you notice doubling on the date or lettering, that's a great sign. Another key error to watch for is the off-center strike, where the design is misaligned, sometimes cutting off part of the image. Additionally, look for die breaks, tiny cracks in the coin's surface that can form unique shapes, making the coin even rarer. One particularly rare error is the transitional planchet error. Some 1966 pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover planchets from previous years, creating a different metal composition. If you ever find a 1966 penny that looks lighter or has a different tone, it might be a rare mint mistake worth thousands. Imagine finding one of these valuable pennies in an old coin jar or tucked away in a drawer. Have you ever come across a strange or unusual penny while checking your change? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Now, let's talk about the ultimate question: how much is a rare 1966 penny actually worth? While values depend on the specific error and condition, one extraordinary specimen sold for an incredible $41,000. That's right, a single penny reaching that price. So the next time you come across a 1966 penny, don't overlook it. That tiny coin in your hand could be worth a life-changing amount. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, you might be holding a rare piece of history. Number 8. Uncommon pennies. The hidden fortune in your pocket. Have you ever checked your pocket change and wondered if one of those pennies could be worth thousands? You might want to start looking a little closer, because today, we're uncovering the shocking truth behind the 1971 Lincoln penny, an ordinary-looking coin that has sold for an unbelievable amount. Some of these pennies are so rare that collectors are willing to pay a fortune. Let's dive into what makes this coin valuable, how to spot one, and the secret errors that could turn a simple penny into a jackpot. The 1971 penny was struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mint mark below the date. Like all Lincoln cents, it features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959. Millions of these pennies were produced, so what makes some of them incredibly valuable? The answer lies in condition, rarity, and the presence of rare mint errors. While most 1971 pennies are only worth their face value, a few special examples have become highly valuable due to their extraordinary condition and unique features. Collectors are always searching for pennies that have been well preserved with their original shine, sharp details, and minimal wear. Coins graded at the highest levels, especially those with flawless surfaces, can command a premium. However, the real excitement comes when we talk about errors. So, how can you spot a valuable 1971 penny? The first thing to check is the condition. If you come across a penny with deep red luster and little to no scratches, you may have something special. But what really sets some of these coins apart is the presence of mint errors. Errors can turn a common coin into a rare and highly sought-after collector's item. One of the most famous errors found on the 1971 penny is the doubled die obverse. This means that during the minting process, the die that struck the coin had a slight misalignment, causing some of the letters and numbers to appear doubled. If you notice strong doubling in the words, Liberty, or In God We Trust, you could be holding an extremely valuable error coin. Another rare and valuable error to watch for is an off-center strike. These coins were not properly aligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be cut off. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Then, there are die break errors, sometimes called cuds. These occur when part of the die cracks, leaving raised blobs or lines on the surface of the penny. If you spot an unusual raised mark on a 1971 penny, it could be a rare variety worth far more than face value. Imagine finding one of these rare pennies in a jar of old coins or tucked away in a drawer. Have you ever come across an unusual penny while checking your spare change? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Now, here's the part you've been waiting for. Just how much can a rare 1971 penny be worth? While values depend on rarity, condition, and the type of error, one extraordinary specimen sold for an astonishing $65,000. That's right, a single penny reaching that price. So, before you spend that penny, take a closer look. You could be holding a small fortune without even realizing it. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows? You might just find a rare piece of history in the palm of your hand. Number 9. Uncommon pennies. The secret to hidden wealth in your pocket. Could a simple penny in your change be worth a small fortune? It sounds unbelievable, but certain rare pennies have sold for shocking amounts, and the 1967 Lincoln cent is one of them. While most people overlook pennies, a select few have hidden details that make them extremely valuable to collectors. Today, we're diving into what makes the 1967 penny special, how to spot one, and the rare errors that could turn an ordinary coin into an incredible payday. The 1967 Lincoln penny features the iconic design by Victor David Brenner, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. This was a unique year in U.S. coin history because from 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint temporarily removed mint marks from all coins in an effort to prevent hoarding and shortages. That means every 1967 penny was struck without a D or S mint mark, making it different from pennies in other years. So why is the 1967 penny valuable? While millions were produced, very few have survived in top condition. Collectors are always looking for coins with their original shine, sharp details, and minimal wear. If a 1967 penny has been well preserved in high grades, it can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But the real value comes from error coins, which can turn a simple 1-cent piece into a major collectible. How can you spot a valuable 1967 penny? Start by checking the condition. If the coin has its original red luster, no heavy scratches, and clear details on Lincoln's hair and coat, it could already be worth more than face value. But the real excitement begins when you find a rare error point. One of the most famous and valuable errors on a 1967 penny is the doubled die obverse. This happens when the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. If you notice doubling on the date or the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust, you may have a highly sought-after variety. Another key error to look for is an off-center strike. If the design of the penny is shifted noticeably to one side, leaving part of the coin blank, it could be a rare collector's item. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the penny becomes, especially if the date is still fully visible. Some 1967 pennies also have die break errors, sometimes called cuds. These occur when a part of the die cracks, leaving raised blobs or lines on the coin's surface. These unusual marks can make a penny far more desirable to collectors. A particularly interesting variety to watch for is a transitional planchet error. Some 1967 pennies were mistakenly struck on leftover planchets from previous years, causing slight differences in weight and metal composition. If you find a 1967 penny that looks slightly different in color or texture, it might be a rare mint mistake worth thousands. Imagine finding one of these valuable pennies hiding in your old change. Have you ever come across an unusual or rare-looking penny? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about your discoveries. Now, the big question: how much can a rare 1967 penny be worth? While values depend on rarity, condition, and the type of error, one extraordinary example sold for an incredible $39,500. That's right, a single penny reaching that price. So before you spend that 1967 penny, take a closer look. That tiny coin in your hand could be a hidden fortune waiting to be discovered. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows, you might be holding a rare piece of history. Number 10. Uncommon pennies. Unlocking the hidden wealth in your pocket. What if I told you that a simple penny, something most people don't even pick up off the ground, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars? It sounds unbelievable, but certain rare pennies have stunned collectors with their incredible value. One such coin is the 1961 Lincoln cent. While millions were minted, only a handful hold the kind of rarity and error features that make collectors go crazy. Today, we're uncovering what makes this penny special, how to spot one, and the hidden errors that could turn an ordinary cent into a small fortune. The 1961 Lincoln penny features the well-known design by Victor David Brenner, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. The D mint mark below the date indicates that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint. At first glance, the 1961 penny may seem like any other Lincoln cent, but as we'll see, certain factors can make it incredibly valuable. So, why is the 1961 penny considered rare and valuable? While millions of these pennies were produced, only a few have survived in perfect condition. Collectors highly value coins that have been well preserved, especially those that still have their original red luster. The better the condition, the higher the price. But what truly sets some 1961 pennies apart is the presence of rare mint errors. These mistakes, made during the coin's production, are what transform a regular penny into a collector's dream. How can you spot a valuable 1961 penny? The first thing to check is the color and condition. If your penny still has its original deep red shine, with little to no wear, it could already be worth more than face value. A high-grade, uncirculated 1961 penny can sell for a premium, but the real money comes from finding error coins. One of the most valuable errors on the 1961 penny is the doubled die obverse. This happens when the coin is struck with a misaligned die, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. If you notice clear doubling on Lincoln's eye, the date, or the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust, you could be holding an extremely valuable variety. Another important error to look for is an off-center strike. If the design of the penny is noticeably misaligned, leaving a portion of the coin blank, it could be a rare minting mistake. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the penny becomes, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Die break errors, also known as cuds, are another type of rare mistake. These occur when the die develops cracks, leaving raised blobs or lines on the coin's surface. If you find a 1961 penny with an unusual raised mark, it could be a rare variety worth serious money. One particularly exciting variety is the repunched mint mark error. This happens when the D mint mark was stamped more than once, creating a slightly overlapping or doubled effect. These small details make a big difference in value, as collectors eagerly search for repunched mint marks from this era. Imagine finding one of these rare pennies in your change or tucked away in an old jar of coins. Have you ever come across an unusual-looking penny while searching through your coins? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. How much can a rare 1961 penny be worth? While values depend on rarity, condition, and the type of error, one extraordinary specimen sold for an astonishing $68,000. That's right, a single penny reaching that price, so before you spend that 1961 penny, take a closer look. You might just be holding a hidden treasure in your hands. Keep searching, keep collecting, and who knows? Your next find could be worth a fortune.